Today I'll be making a banana nut ice cream. I decided to do a low calorie version. It's not going to be super low calorie because I'm using oat milk, which has like 120 calories per cup. But I am using protein powder and a few other things, bananas, nuts, a couple dates. For sugars, I'm using this monk fruit sweetener from Costco. And I'm also using this, it's also a monk fruit, but it's like a brown sugar. I bought online. I might put in a little bit of caramel sweetener, and I'm definitely using some Jell-O to kind of emulsify it nicely. I'm going to use a little bit of vanilla Jell-O and a little bit of the banana cream. I don't want a strong baked banana flavor. I want it to have more of a real banana flavor. So I made sure to use a banana that's fairly ripe. This one's not totally brown, but it's got a lot of brown spots on it, so it will be sweeter, and the dates will also help with the sweetness. I am making this one without milk products because I have a friend who's lactose intolerant, so of course you can use any kind of milk that you want, but that's what I decided to do today. So I'm going to start with a scoop of the protein powder. I'm using this ISO 100. It's got about 110 calories per scoop. So I'm going to scoop that up approximately and put it in a bullet. I'm going to blend this up. And I'm going to put my oat milk, just a little bit, to start to fill it up. Then I'm going to add my banana. I'm going to do the whole banana because I want it to have a real nice natural banana flavor. I'm just going to break it up in little pieces. This is all going to be blended anyway, so it doesn't really matter how big your pieces are, but I think it'll be easier to blend if I make them fairly small. I'm going to add some walnuts. They're just fresh walnuts. I think they're lightly salted. You can use either. I'm not going to add all of them because some of them I want to mix in at the end, but I do want to put a little bit in. Not only does it add protein, but it kind of emulsifies nicely. Of course, it does add calories, but I'm not trying to do a super low calorie. I'm just trying to do like a healthy, fairly low calorie one. So my dates, I'm going to add these. They have pits in them, so I'm going to go ahead and add those off camera because it takes too long. Add a little bit of salt. I'm going to put my hand over to make sure that I don't over salt it. That's probably good. I just added maybe less than 1/4 teaspoon, just a tiny bit. As far as sugar goes, I'm going to add just a little bit because the banana has sugar, the dates are going to have sugar, and also the protein powder I think has a little bit of sweetener. So I'm just going to add a little bit because in ice cream, it always seems like once it freezes, it needs a little more sugar. It loses a little bit of flavor when it freezes. I'm going to add a little bit of the brown sugar as well. Not too much. I'm going to taste it at the end and adjust my flavoring. As I said, a little bit of the vanilla Jell-O and a little bit of the banana Jell-O. Whoops. Just a little bit. It was probably like a teaspoon. This one I'm going to do less. I'm going to just do like maybe half a teaspoon. Good. And I'm going to add the rest of my oat milk to the top because that will make about the right amount for I'm using a deluxe creamy. I can always adjust it after I mix it up. But that's my initial recipe. I'll blend that up and then I'll taste. After blending this up, I tasted it. It tastes really good. A few other ingredients that you can add, they're optional. I'm going to add a little bit of this vanilla with bourbon. Just maybe a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Not too much because I don't want it to be like a coffee cake. I want it to be more like I say that's about half a teaspoon. I want it to be more like banana bread. What else? Oh, nutmeg. I'm using ground nutmeg, so I'm just going to grind a little bit in there. Again, not too much. I want it to enhance the flavor, but I don't want you to necessarily taste too much of the nutmeg. And then I'm just going to stir this up. I don't need to blend it again. Stir it up and taste it. Make sure I get that cinnamon mixed up. It tastes really good. Now it's ready to go into the creamy to blend. So I'll go ahead, not to blend. Now it's ready to go into the creamy to freeze. And as you can see, it didn't quite go all the way up to the top. So I have the option of adding ingredients or just leaving it like that. I could add oat milk. I could add a little bit more walnuts. I could add a little bit more sugar if I wanted it to be sweeter. It's tough to say because it always loses a little bit of the sweetness. I think I am going to add a little bit of brown sugar just to fine tune it, but I think it's pretty good. I've frozen this for a couple days, and as you notice, the top has a little bit of cinnamon that floated to the top. That's totally fine. I'm gonna mix it on whole thing, even though I only want to eat a little bit of it, because I want to make sure everything's mixed. So I'm going to put this on light ice cream because it's made with protein powder and not a heavy fat content. After spinning this, it looks perfect, which is a good thing, but I also wanted to add some mix-ins. So if I put my mix-ins in and mix it up, it's gonna be way overspun, I can tell. So I have the option of scooping this up and putting the walnuts on top, or I can mix a little bit in. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take some walnuts, not a lot, and just mix this in. And it looks perfect. Now I'm ready to scoop. So after scooping this out, it looks perfect and it has a nice feel to it as well. So I'm hopeful. Now it's time to taste. I can taste it straight like this, or I can just add a few walnuts to the top. I already mixed some in, but I think it looks prettier to add a few. It's very good. It's super creamy. It has a great flavor. I have no protein shake flavor at all. For me, I try to mask the protein shake flavor for the most part because I think to me it tastes a little bit medicinal when it doesn't have any other flavors in there, when it's too high protein. So this is delicious and it's fairly low calorie. I didn't do the exact calorie count on it. I did use oat milk, which is higher calorie than the almond milk, but it does have high protein, and I didn't use any cream, so that's helpful.